Okay, that's Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. Let's now go across live to London. Reham Khan joins us. You understand Imran Khan's mind very well. Tell us, Reham Khan, what do you make of the timing of the statement put out by the Pakistani Prime Minister, coming as it does just a day after Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince, was in Pakistan and is in India meeting the Prime Minister tomorrow?
Thank you, Rahul. First of all, I think that the speech by Imran today was very measured. It said what needed to be said. It was very balanced, ticked all the boxes of diplomacy. However, I think it came a bit too late by my standards, and this is just my personal opinion, that I think once such a huge incident happens in any country, be it India or any other part of the world, there should have been a swift condemnation from the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I think that there would have been an immediate, because he's very, very quick with his tweets. There are those knee-jerk reaction tweets and he's very trigger happy with them. But on this occasion, and also on the Iranian incident that happened on the Sistan-Balochistan area, there was no tweet. He was conveniently tweeting about winter rains in Pakistan. And so I was a bit surprised. Well, not too surprised, because I think he was not only evading the subject, but also waiting for instructions. And today, the instructions were very clear. And I cannot find any fault with the speech today. I think that it, as I said, ticked all the boxes, said all the right things. But even today, I think that he could have been a bit bigger and given a very a categorical condemnation of this incident in Pulwama.
The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Reham Khan, didn't utter a single word in condolence, didn't express sympathy, say he's feeling bad that these deaths have happened, that the people of Pakistan, his government stands with the Indian people. Not a word. You know, this is basic human decency. When there is even one death, let alone 40, when the kids in Peshawar died, the Indian government put out a statement of support, sympathy. There hasn't been a word of sympathy from Imran Khan, who knows so many Indians and so many people here, Ms. Khan.
As I said, that, you know, the 13th of February, we had the Iranian incident. We've still not heard any condolences from him. Then it was followed by the 14th of February attack in Pulwama. And as I said, that's something that hit me straight away. But even today, and I listened to the speech, and I generally do not listen to his speeches, but the only fault that I could find with today's speech was the fact that there should have been condolences. There should have been some heartfelt condolences. Even if it was scripted, it should have come out, because I think that you have to be an extremely callous individual, an extremely cold individual, not to feel for some of the images that are coming out of you know, I've not seen many of the images because I find them quite disturbing, but as our heart bleeds for young 4-year-olds being shot at point blank in Kashmir by the forces, similarly, I was upset. I was visibly and shook up by the pictures that I've seen on Instagram of these widows of those who were taken out in this tragic incident.
You said it seemed the delay was because Imran Khan was waiting for instructions. Whose instructions was the Pakistani Prime Minister waiting for? Do you believe that the instructions were from the Pakistani army, Rawalpindi, the army headquarters? Whose instructions was the Pakistani Prime Minister waiting for, ma'am?
I say this with full responsibility and authority, that I think that one has to realize that Imran has had to make a lot of compromises to get here. He didn't get here by staying ideological. We voted back in 2013 for Imran in PTI because we believed him to be leading a centrist, moderate party for middle-class people, a tolerant party that would inevitably be representing a more secular idea in Pakistan. We did not see him, or at least vote for him, thinking that he would use the blasphemy card, as he did shamelessly before the 2018 elections. The Jaish-e-Mohammed from Bahawalpur were actively supporting him. They saw in him a new savior following the condemnation of Nawaz Sharif over the Pathankot incident and what followed with Masood Azhar's arrest orders. So I think that everybody was disappointed that he did compromise. prior to being put into the prime ministerial chair, he compromised using the blasphemy card against minorities, those that he vowed to support and to stand by. And just as we've seen before Mohammed bin Salman's visit, the crackdown on Shiite social media groups. And this is shocking to me because, and I'm from a Sunni origin, but it is shocking to me that you would allow the foreign minister of Saudi to sit next to the foreign minister of Pakistan and allow him to hijack the press conference and open a new war front with Iran. It is unacceptable. And of course, we have a lot of Shia community who believed in Imran, have voted for him, and I think they feel very cheated. So I think all the right words were said today, but knowing him from a completely, the fact that not only because of knowing him through a personal relationship, but what has he ever stood by? You know, it would be wonderful. I'm willing to give him the benefit of doubt today also, that he has talked about terrorism, he's talked about dialogue, and he said all the right things.
No, but he's asked for proof, Reham. The fact is that all that proof lies on Pakistani soil. Using open source techniques for investigation, we showed how in Bawalpur in Pakistan, the Jaish-e-Mohammed is at this moment building a compound which is substantially bigger than the compound that they had in the past. All that is evidence of how the Jaish-e-Mohammed is growing in Pakistan under Imran Khan's watch. That is the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who will be meeting the Prime Minister tomorrow. I want to show you for a moment what the GOC, the General Officer commanding the Chinar Corps, the 15 Corps in Srinagar, he's in charge of the entire Kashmir Valley for the Indian Army. He has spoken only to one channel, and that's India Today. What did he tell us? My colleague in India Today, Strategic Affairs Editor Gaurav Sawant spoke to him. Compare and contrast that also with what the Pakistani Prime Minister had to say.
Ever since 14th of February, convoy attack on CRP, we were tracking the top JEM leadership in Kashmir Valley. As you are aware, that convoy attack was carried out by Jaish-e-Mohammed of Pakistan, and it was being controlled from Pakistan with active support of ISI and the Pakistan Army. Jaish-e-Mohammed Pakistan Army का ही एक बच्चा है. Jaish-e-Mohammed को पाकिस्तान आर्मी ही कंट्रोल कर रही है और ISI ही कंट्रोल कर रही है.
पहले तो आपने पाकिस्तान पे इल्जाम लगा दिया, ना कोई एविडेंस, ना कोई सोचा कि इसके अंदर पाकिस्तान का क्या फायदा है. बजाय ये कि आप कश्मीर का मसला उसकी तरफ कोई डायलॉग शुरू करें, कोई आगे बढ़े, ये तो बार बार पाकिस्तान को एक whipping boy बनाए रखेंगे आप.
Reham Khan, the Pakistani Prime Minister is asking India for evidence. The evidence lies on Pakistani soil. All he needs to do is look at the mirror. Are you disappointed with the fact that ever since he became Prime Minister, terrorist groups have got stronger? The likes of Maulana Masood Azhar campaigned for Imran Khan during his election rather than clamp down on him. I interviewed him when he came to Agenda Aaj Tak. He said, we will act against the likes of Hafiz Saeed. Instead, on the 5th of February, Maulana Masood Azhar did a big rally, and we've got visuals of that. They're growing bigger under his watch as opposed to him taking them down.
Let's be fair to him, Rahul. Imran has come into power, again I stress, by compromising on ideology, by compromising on centrist or moderate policy. Do not for a minute imagine that this is his policy. He is instructed to do and instructed to say what the deep state wants him to do and to say. We have seen the rise of new religious extremist parties in the run-up to the elections. We've seen a lot of violence and rioting in Islamabad. And had he wanted to crack down, he wouldn't have been sitting with them pre-election. He wouldn't have been talking about Article 295A and using the blasphemy card. So he has been doing exactly what he has been told to do. He is executing orders. And so for us to now blame him, I feel a little bit sorry for him if it can be said. But right now, I think that even if we were to give him the benefit of doubt for a minute, imagine that he has authority, I think that if he's saying that we will take action, then he has to display some sort of, or demonstrate some sort of track record. We've not seen any action. For example, a lot earlier than the Pulwama attack, there has been no progress on the National Action Plan, which says specifically that the financial sources of these extremist groups will be cut off. We were on our way to being blacklisted by the FATF long before these two incidents happened. So I think that for me, when I'm sitting here on India Today giving you an interview, I'm very conscious of the fact that back home in Pakistan and even overseas, people feel compelled not to sound very pro-Indian. But I feel that when I say that we must take action, not because the Indian Premiership wants us to, not because Indians are protesting today, but because it's in the interest of Pakistan. So yes, he is saying all the right things, but he needed to do certain things. In the last 6-7 months, we've not seen him do that. We've actually seen extremist religious factions, clerics being flown into North Waziristan. Imagine how people feel who have lost their loved ones within Pakistan. So I am, from my point of view, giving a very pro-Pakistani statement that we are playing with fire. We are heading towards a bloodbath. It is not about being worried about India criticizing us. It is not about worrying about what the world is saying, but the fact that even if we are not involved in Jaish-e-Mohammed, say we might not have a shred of evidence, but we have a track record which says that we are not cracking down on these groups. So
no, and that's a charge, Reham Khan, that's been leveled by 3 countries, all of Pakistan's neighbors. Iran said that the attack on the Revolutionary Guards in Balochistan was sponsored by Pakistan. They've promised retaliation and retribution. Afghanistan CEO and president have been saying exactly the same thing, and India is saying the same. 3 Pakistani neighbors all saying that terror comes from Pakistani soil, and yet the Prime Minister and the army refuse to acknowledge and act on it.
More than that, what I find worrying is that if I was in his position, or in God forbid, in the establishment's position, if a religious extremist group, a militant group, says that they are accepting responsibility, I think long before this happened, we should have cut off all ties. We have not. We have been actually, in personal relationships as well as in international relationships, we have to stop this two-timing. And I can't be more brutal than that. And I know I will be abused and trolled over this. But you see, I'm not a career politician. I am not a politician who is an opportunist. I am saying that the fact that people in Kashmir, whether they are from the police or whether they are Hindu or Muslim, I am against all sorts of bloodshed. So yes, I do not take very kindly to the fact that the Kashmiri youngsters are blowing themselves up.
You know, our fact-check desk did a basic examination of this video. There are 23 edits in a 6-minute video clip. Now, you know Imran Khan well. He doesn't need video editing to sound cogent. You know, he can speak extempore and makes perfect sense. Yet, there are multiple edits. We're taking our viewers through each of those edits. That's a jump cut. When he's speaking, the video is heavily edited, sliced and diced. Now, the question is, do you believe, Ms. Khan, that there was somebody who played super censor to the Pakistani Prime Minister when he made this speech? Ordinarily, he's good enough to go, what he says is good enough to telecast. Somebody's edited it. Do you believe this could be the generals in Rawalpindi wanting to play super censor to the Pakistan Prime Minister, Ms. Khan?
I must say that just before coming up on air today, on India Today, I just said to my personal assistant when he sent me the speech, I said, I must see the speech that everyone's talking about. And I was hoping that nobody would notice this. And I said to him, you know, it's a very good speech, but I don't know how he managed to remember all those points because, I mean, he has severe memory loss issues. And so my PA, who does quite a lot of editing as well, he's a media student, he said, but did you not notice? I said, I did notice the edits, but you know, again, let's be honest, you know, people are saying that he's driving the Crown Prince around. People are saying he's talking about chickens and eggs. And today he delivered a speech which, let's give him the benefit of doubt.
Ma'am, you're not answering my question. With respect, Ms. Khan, you're not answering my question. I'll repeat my question. Do you believe that there were generals in the Pakistani army who viewed the Pakistani Prime Minister's speech before it was released to the media? Because this video is heavily edited, sliced and diced. Of that, there is no contest. Somebody played censor. Who do you think it could be, ma'am?
I am saying this, Rahul, that I'm agreeing with you. I was hoping that nobody would notice it, that the speech was so perfectly delivered. It was quite clearly scripted. It's not his language. These are not his terms. The terms were also, I noticed that he never used the term freedom fighting, and this is something which is textbook Pakistani speak. I noticed that also. So yes, I do think that somewhere I actually have info. I've been told that there are some think tanks, some new think tanks who are working on this. And if you know, I'm an eternal optimist, so I see that as positive, that perhaps there has been a shift in policy where the word and the language, words and the language are very soft. And yes, I do think that this was not Imran's extempore speech. I do think that he's been told to say these things. And if we were to take it on that face value, then I suppose that's a slightly encouraging sign. I think that India should
one last question. Imran Khan's image in India is as this swashbuckling, debonair, World Cup winning captain before he became politician. You said that he's had to make multiple compromises in his political journey to reach where he's got to. To what extent do you believe Imran Khan is currently compromised? To what extent do you believe he's being remote controlled by the generals in Rawalpindi? To what extent is he his own man? When he says what he does, how much of it is coming from within Imran Khan? How much is coming via dictation from Rawalpindi's army headquarters, Ms. Khan?
Look, Rahul, it is impossible. It is impossible to come into power the way Imran has come into power without the support of the military establishment. It is impossible. I find it, you know, very hard to understand some of the compromises he's done. But knowing him personally, he's made these compromises in front of me, and he's made these compromises because there was no other way. For him, coming into power was the ultimate goal. He is a sportsman. He wanted to win. He got what he wanted. He got the Sherwani, and for that he has to make these compromises. However, I will also say this, that even if you were to put my personal experience with him aside, look at his track record. He says beautiful things. He talks about the European Union model one day, and then he takes a U-turn, and then he accepts the fact that that U-turn is an official policy. He basically says that Winston Churchill and great leaders like Winston Churchill have been using the U-turn concept. And so, you know, I mean, he doesn't really have a track record of sticking to beautiful words that he says. He doesn't do that personally. I'm a victim of that. Many friends will vouch for that as well. He will say something beautifully peaceful and logical and then take a 360-degree turn. And that's the nature of opportunistic politicians, and that happens to be across the board. He's just better than everyone else at doing the bidding.
Reham Khan, you've spoken. We leave it to every single person who's watching to make what they think of what you're saying, but you're very clear that you don't think these are his words as somebody who spent time with him, and you think to a great extent he's compromised and is parroting the lines given by the generals in Rawalpindi. Thank you very much, Reham Khan, for joining us from London.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.